Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. In the news, Sulphur Springs City Council, after discussion Tuesday night, opted for the second month in a row to table a proposed ordinance setting a curfew for minors until their next meeting. The proposal this time set the age for minors impacted by the curfew at 15 or younger. The council approved on first reading an ordinance to annex the city-owned property formerly referred to as the thermal mine or luminant properties. The approval was given also by the City Council on first reading an ordinance for several matters related to funding improvements at Pacific Park and a new senior citizen center, projects approved by voters in November. The city approved a $49,500 contract with EnviroCare Associates for abatement of asbestos at 301 Oak Avenue. This was the lowest of 6 bids. The building will be removed and used as part of the new senior center. The city also approved a contract for $1,174,000 and more from Texana Land and Asphalt for street improvements. Overall, the city received 5 bids, and Texana's was the lowest. The city had anticipated the cost to be $1.3 million, which could mean more road repairs than anticipated this year. The council also approved a resolution Tuesday that authorizes the fire department to submit a grant application to the Office of Governor Homeland Security Division for the purchase of a thermal imaging camera. Sulphur Springs Fire Department Chief David James said the thermal imager can be used in situations involving hazardous materials and other operations as well during firefighting. If approved, the grant would fund the full cost of just over $10,400. Investigation of the possible distribution of child pornography by a local resident resulted in 36-year-old Manuel Rodriguez Cruz arrest. According to Sheriff Lewis Tatum, an investigation led by Hopkins County Sheriff Chief Investigator Corley Weatherford was launched based on the tip that the sheriff's office received about possible involvement of a local resident in the distribution of child pornography. An investigation traced an IP address used to upload images back to the 100 block of West Ross Street in Sulphur Springs. Search warrant was obtained and served after officials confirmed Rodriguez Cruz was at the residence. During a search of the property, Rodriguez Cruz allegedly confessed to accessing, processing, and distribution of child pornography for his own personal use, sheriff's officials reported. Consequently, Rodriguez Cruz was taken into custody and jailed on a second-degree felony possession with intent to promote child pornography charge. Hopkins County Sheriff's Office reported all electronics from the residence were seized for further analysis. And Sulphur Springs High School was well represented at the Regional Business Professionals of America competition in Rockwall, with 25 students competing. Of those, 11 will be advancing to the state contest, and 3 were selected as state alternates. According to Sulphur Springs High School Director of College and Career Readiness and Career and Technical Education, Jenny Arledge. Readiness, Career, and Technical, I mentioned that. Students advancing from the January 18th contest at Dr. Jean Burton College and Career Academy in Rockwall will be competing March 4th through the 7th at the Texas State Leadership Conference in Dallas.
4 Miller Grove FFA chapter students visited the KSST studios to tell us about their February projects.
My name is Jocelyn Helterbrand, and I am the Miller Grove FFA Vice President. I have been in the FFA since the 8th grade.
Okay. What brought you to this? Did you grow up on a farm?
No, nobody in my family was really involved in the FFA until my sister, and she was an officer as well. But I really started to love it whenever I joined in the FFA, joined in the 8th grade to try it out.
Okay, well, I'm so glad that you did. Let's meet our next guest. Who are you?
I'm Clayton Tackle. I'm a sophomore at Miller Grove High School. I do a dairy project and for cows. I also do an AgMech project.
Okay. And you like to build things for ag mechanics?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you like to do or have done for this year?
Some things I've done is an Adirondack chair. So it's a wooden chair that has a unique design to it to where it's extreme comfort. I've also working on picnic tables right now.
Okay, good. We're going to find out more about you, Clayton, and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Braden Lennon. I'm with the Miller Grove FFA chapter. I have a dairy project, and I show Nella broilers.
Okay, so you do have a project for the Hopkins County show coming up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. And we're going to find out more about you too, Braden. And Alexis.
Hi, I'm Alexis Salee. I'm the Miller Grove FFA treasurer this year. I have 2 market land projects, and I've also competed in livestock judging, and I'm going to start something new at our school, floriculture, this year.
Nifty. Well, you'll have to tell us more about that. And you looked so familiar when you came in, and that's because you worked here in town.
Yes, ma'am. I used to work at the Sulphur Springs Fix and Feed.
Okay, that's where I saw you. Well, let's start with you and tell us, what is floral culture? Did I say that right?
Floriculture?
Floriculture.
Yes, ma'am. It's mainly about flowers. You have to learn all different kinds of flowers and their scientific name. You have to learn about pests and all the diseases and what they look like and what they cause to the plant.
Okay. So you do this as an interest because you like flowers,
ma'am.
but also because it is part of science and
Yes, I love science.
Agriculture science. Thank you for sharing that with us. You are a senior this year.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Tell us what your goals and ideas are for after-school life, after high school.
Well, like I said, I used to work at the Fix and Feed in Sulphur Springs. Well, I currently started working at a small ranch in Lone Oak, being the ranch manager, and it's really gotten me into animal science and horticulture because we do a lot of hay. And so I have to know a lot about the soil and the grass and all kinds of stuff. And they are working up to getting a bunch of cattle. So my plan is to go to A&M Commerce and get an animal science degree and minor in horticulture.
Okay. And you happen to just really love it too, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. I love animals and I love plants and I love mashing it with science because they're all my favorite things.
And you have livestock at home?
Yes, ma'am. We, my family, we raise cattle, and then we've raised sheep ever since I was in the 6th grade.
Well, thank you, Alexis. And we're going to go back this way. So Braden Lennon, and so you have family in Hopkins and Rains County and all around this area, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought I recognized that last name, Lennon. Tell us about your dairy project.
Well, I have about 5 show cows. I go to a lot of major shows like Dallas and Fort Worth. I actually just recently got back from Fort Worth, and a couple months ago I got back from Dallas. I did good in Fort Worth.
How good did you do?
I got first in one of my classes with my oldest heifer and then 4th in my other class with my youngest. But in the open show, I got first with my oldest, 2nd with my youngest, and then I got junior champion and then open show reserve champion.
My word. So with your 5 cattle, you came back with 4 of them with pretty good wins.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I know it's a long way because you're in the 9th grade. It's a long way till the end of high school, but what do you think you want to do later?
Well, I want to go and attend Texas A&M University and try to be an agricultural teacher so I can convince kids to keep on doing this so that we can make FFA better and keep it going.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you, Braden. You give us a lot of hope for the future. Clayton, tell us about your projects and I know you're showing an ag mechanics project soon at NETLA.
Yes, ma'am. For the NETLA show and the ag mechanics projects, I'm building a set of picnic tables. One of the tables we're going to custom paint with the Texas flag on top of it, and the other one we're going to burn, stain, and clear coat it. And that's what the NETLA show is what we're going to do.
Okay, sounds wonderful.
My dairy heifers, I just recently got back from Fort Worth too. I show with Braden.
Okay.
In the open show, I placed second, and in the junior show, I placed second and third, sorry. And we did okay, but that was the last show for these set of heifers because they'll go back and get bred.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Ma'am.
So, do you live on a family farm?
Yes, I would say kind of like a Doolittle farm, basically. Kind of have a little bit of everything.
Okay,
yes,
good.
ma'am.
Well, you have that in your background, and it makes you want to go, learn what you can from FFA. But tell me, do you have plans for after high school? You are a sophomore. It's a long way.
Yes, ma'am. When I get out of high school, I don't really have an agricultural background I'd like to go on to. I'd like to go into college and get my psychological therapist degree after 4 years, and or become a pro angler. So those are my choices.
Okay, wonderful. And let's go back to Jocelyn. You told me you have the opportunity to do many things in FFA, including Creed and public speaking. What is that all about?
Well, Creed and public speaking, for public speaking, I write my own speeches and then memorize them. And I have to learn them like the back of my hand because when I go into competitions, I have to say the speech from memorization. I don't get a paper or a note card or anything. And then the judges have to ask me questions about my speech. So I really have to know every little detail about what I'm talking about and what I'm really passionate about. This year, I decided to do my public speaking speech about agricultural commodities and subsidies. And it's a very hard topic, but it really interested me in how a lot of these farmers get their money and how they are able to keep their farms going with government loans and things like that. Last year, I did my speech over dairy and how the dairy industry has really been in a decline. And so I just decided to branch off and try something new this past year. And then Creed speaking, I do that for LDEs, which is a leadership development event, and I made it all the way to area where I placed 11th, which really isn't bad considering I've only been doing Creed speaking for the last 2 years.
Okay. Well, I think that you will do well at anything that you put your hand to. You're also currently president or vice president?
I am the vice president of the Miller Grove FFA chapter.
Okay,
yes.
Wonderful. Well, I know you all have bright futures. I can tell that just by listening to you talk and the smile on your face that shows you like what you're learning in FFA. It's a part of high school that I guess some kids that don't get led that direction really miss out on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Other good skills that you learn, you learn about welding, or you can learn all these practical skills in FFA. Do you have good teachers over there? You're good ag teachers?
I think we have excellent ag teachers.
Yes,
they really try to
yeah.
get us involved, and they make sure we are able to do anything that we set our mind to.
Okay. I'm kind of leading you on to tell me how your advisor that's here today, Jeff Gatlin, does as a teacher.
As a teacher, I personally would not know, but Clayton and Braden, I think, have him in class.
As a teacher, I would say he's a very excellent teacher, but he's a very hands-on teacher to where he'll let you figure it out on your own with assistance at points to where you'll learn from your mistakes. So if you're doing something wrong, he'll kind of give you a hint towards it, but it's a learning process with him. So he wants you to learn everything about it and ways to do it in steps.
I see. Okay.
Well, what I think of him is that he's a really good teacher. He teaches us very well on how to weld, and he helps me with the stuff I don't know. He also helps others when they don't know.
Okay. I think that's what teachers do, and he's doing that well. So you have another FFA advisor, too.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. It's Kimberly Martin, and I think she's a great teacher. She has really opened my mind to do a lot of different competitions this year. She got me into doing livestock judging as well as creed speaking and public speaking, and she's really opened my mind to these new opportunities.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes, and last year I had her for my animal science class, and she's really one of the people that inspired me to go on to bigger things in the animal science world. It was a really great class, and I loved how she taught it, and it was really awesome.
Well, thank you, Alexis. And so these people who are your teachers in this practical science that you're learning will affect your whole future life. And so you'll look back at different stages of your life on, well, so-and-so taught me that, and I remember that from class, et cetera. So it's a historic time that you're living in right now as you start your ag careers. Thank you all for coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very briefly, anybody going to another of the major shows up ahead?
I'm going to San Antonio on this coming up Tuesday for Lamb Skillathon.
Okay, great. We hope you let us know how you do as the year goes on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In sports, Wildcats football inside linebacker George Greenway signed a letter of intent Wednesday morning to attend and to play college football at Kilgore College in Kilgore. Greenway is the son of George Greenway and Jessica. His stepmom is Meredith Greenway, and his stepfather is Kevin. Other relatives, including his grandmother, were in attendance, along with a large number of high school students. Greenway talked about how he got together with Kilgore College.
I have family members down in Kilgore and everything, and so we contacted the head coach, and he contacted us back, and he liked how I performed everything on the field and how strong I was. So he told me I can come take an official visit. So I went down there, and I ended up getting an offer, and so now I'm signing. And so,
With relatives there, you're probably familiar with the town and everything. It's a nice place.
oh yes, sir, I'm very familiar. Yes, sir.
All right. And what plans do they have for you? What have you a linebacker position?
Should be linebacker and maybe play some fullback.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Have you done that offense before?
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. And being in the inside on the linebacker, or
Yes, sir. Should be inside. Inside.
what do you like about that position?
Well, I like the aggression, and I just like hitting people in the mouth. So it's work.
All right. What kind of studies will you do? What are you looking for in the future?
I should be majoring in kinesiology, and yeah, that's what it should be.
You had a good career here.
It's pretty good. Yes, sir.
I know it's disappointing this season with the injuries and everything.
Oh, it was pretty disappointing, but it held me back none, so everything was working out perfectly.
Are you going to be able to power lift over there? Do they do that?
I will not be powerlifting over there. They said I might get a little bit weaker, but I'll still be the strongest there.
All right. Give us your parents' name.
My dad's George Greenway, my mom's Jessica, and my stepmom's Meredith Greenway, and my stepdad's Kevin.
You got some other folks here?
Yes, I have a lot of family members. My Grammy's here, my aunt's here, my uncle, their son, and my girlfriend's here right now. So,
And the entire student body is here to.
all my closest friends. So,
I think you make them. Congratulations. We're proud of you.
yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Greenway's defensive coordinator for the past 2 seasons has been Alex Guetta, who tells us about George Greenway.
It's been pretty good. Awesome. Kid's always excited to come to practice. You know, he's kind of a fire starter in our group, man. He gets kids going and always has a great attitude.
As we can see from this turnout, he's very popular, and he seems to just have a natural leadership qualities.
Yeah, definitely. Just his attitude and everything he says and does, he's always very animated and excited. So, good defensive guy to have.
Kilgore's getting a pretty good motor, huh?
Oh, yeah, he doesn't stop. Loves the weight room, loves working out. You know, he loves football, and that's a big deal. You know, I think he said earlier, I heard him say he just likes hitting people. You know, and I think they've got a good one, and he's going to do big things there.
After a 27-27 tie at halftime, the Wildcats basketball team outscored the Greenville Lions by 11 points in the second half to take a 63-52 win in the main gym at Sulphur Springs High School Tuesday night. Boo Wilkerson had a big offensive game, scoring 23 points. Wildcats coach Clark Cipolletta discusses the win.
You know, Greenville is one of those teams that are just very physical, very tough, hard-nosed kids. They're well coached, and we're going to get their best every time we play them. And it's not going to be an easy game. There's not an easy game once you get into district, and you got a big target on your back, and you just got to rise to the occasion. And I thought our kids did a really good job of that, especially in the second half.
Yeah, it seemed like Day, Cameron Kahn, and Boo offensively really kind of carried the load.
They did. They played really well. Cam, I thought, really got the game started by driving and kind of taking what the defense gave them, and Boo really took on a load last night and having to guard three on the defensive end, but having enough legs on the offensive end to hit some really big shots. He's played really, really well these last three games, and Day, he had a solid game. Same with Grayson. I thought this was Grayson's best defensive game he's ever played. He rotated correctly almost every single time. We did some different things by doubling their best player and using Grayson kind of as that guy. So I thought we were very well balanced on both ends of the floor, and just proud of the whole group of guys.
What was the difference in the second half as opposed to the first half? We just kind of turned it up offensively?
Well, I thought we kind of tried to space them out a little bit more. They were very concentrated on our bigs. Mm-hmm. They made it really tough to get Day and Cam the ball down low, so we tried to do a little bit more ball screening to get LJ, Boo, Grayson into the paint, maybe on some handoff stuff to get them loose a little bit. And they were able to make some shots, and then that opens back up to big. So we just kind of played off of that. And defensively, we just had to take a different approach on the Q kid, number 3. He's such a dynamic offensive player, not the best offensive player, I think, in our district. Very, very good. So you just got to keep throwing different looks at him. We went 2 or 3 looks early on, and 1 or 2 of those weren't really working because he was in his groove. And in the second half, we tried to mix some stuff up, and I think we had some success with that as well.
Yeah, the third quarter, he was just non-existent. He came on in the fourth quarter, but he was that 1 3 was 35 feet if it was anything.
Right. We were going to make somebody else beat us. We just try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. The first time around we played him, we did a really good job of containing him. Got to play him a lot one-on-one, and some other guys hurt us in some areas the first time around. But this time, he just couldn't miss early on and was getting whatever he wanted. And that's not a discredit to Boo. This kid's just really good, and they run some really good actions to him. So, guys like Day and Cam and Grayson and those guys really stepped up to help Boo out as well. So it's kind of the glory of the team. When somebody's having some trouble, you got 4 other guys to really rely on.
Mount Pleasant also won last night over Texas High, still tied, and it'll be a huge game in Mount Pleasant. I'm sure they'll have the kind of crowd we had last night, maybe more.
Right, yes, it's going to be a real big game. We're both tied for first, and kind of the winner will be up there by himself for a little bit. So it's just a game that we know it will be different than when we played here and playing there. We got a couple guys banged up, a couple guys sick, so we're really focused on getting those guys back healthy and coming up with a new game plan. I know they're going to do something different, so there's some things that we're going to try to do as well. So just hopefully come together in full strength and perform at the level we can perform at.
What's the strength of that Mount Pleasant team this year?
They're very athletic. They press. I think this is the most skilled team he has had. Sometimes they had some kids out there who were really athletic, but not necessarily just fundamental basketball players. Maybe can't shoot, maybe have deficiency on the offensive end, but he really does a good job of having 5 guys on the floor that if they have the ball, you have to guard them. So we can't just sag off and help in different areas. You really got to guard each and every guy, be accountable for each and every guy out there. So, you just got to come together as a group and, figure it out how to get stops.
The Wildcats, ranked number 8 in the state in Class 5A, improved their district record to 5-1 and their season marked at 23-7. Lady Cats basketball team and the Greenville Lady Lions struggled to score in the first half, and the Lady Lions led at the half 15-13. The Lady Cats outscored the Lady Lions 34-21 in the second half to take a 47-36 win in the main gym at Sulphur Springs High School Tuesday night. Freshman Kinsey Willis led the Lady Cats with 22 points. We get more on that game from Lady Cats coach Brittany Tisdale.
So, wasn't as clean as I'd like it, but it goes back to a win's a win, and our girls fought hard to, we were losing at halftime, so our girls fought hard to come back, and, we scored outstanding in the second half, and so our second half was great, but we did start rough, but a win is a win, and we'll take it.
Yeah, that first half, the points are at a premium, especially that 4-3 first quarter.
Gosh, it was rough, man. For both teams, honestly. Yeah. And then we go into the second half, 13-15. The first half was just low scoring. Nothing was going in. And, for us, we were terrible from the free throw line. Just awful. Yeah. And so we did better in the second half. But, yeah, and it was I don't know, but nothing was going in for anybody.
Kinsey Willis with another big game for you.
Mm-hmm, she did. She's really starting to roll now. I know her first game back, I really didn't play her that much, but even the second one, she was still real rusty and kind of timid. But now she seems to, really feel comfortable, find her own, and she's back in it.
And another good game, or good games from Nyla Lindley and also Hannah Cordell, again, really clogging up, blocking shots and all that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes, she gets a little too excited. She gets a few fouls that we need her to chill out and not get. But, being there, being a big presence in the paint for not being able to score, stuff in the paint, and then rebounding, she does a really good job. And then defensively, Nala was killing it for us. So, those three, we need them on the court at all times, so we need them to stay out of foul trouble.
And good job also, Kate Womack, and also Breasia Ivory kind of, rounding it out.
Yeah, they did. That's our best defensive lineup is those five, and so these last few games, our goal is win because of defense, and so that's really our strategy going in is defensively winning the game and making sure we're putting our best defensive lineup in for the majority of the game, and it seems so far to be working out okay. So Bree's so fast, it's hard for anybody to get by her, and then Kate's such a smart help defender that she helps out a lot on stuff that people don't realize, that she's doing, but playing smart, playing off when she's supposed to, being in help, and so that group of five did a really good job working together and holding Greenville down, especially when we weren't scoring. So
now Mount Pleasant over there, a tough place to win, and they won big here. So, but Lindale did too. So, but it'll be a whale of a game. Yeah,
it will be rough. It is a hard gym to play in. I think ours are ready. I really do. The first time around, that's one that Kinsey was just back. She didn't even start in that one, so it was a rough one for her. But I think mentally ours are going in a lot better this time around. So we'll see what we can do.
The win improved the Lady Cats district record to 3-5, and the Lady Cats now hold down the district's fourth and final playoff spot, 1 game ahead of Lindale and 2 games up on Greenville with 2 district games to play. The Saltillo Lady Lions basketball team, ranked number 11 in Class A, remained unbeaten in district play with an 80-10 victory over Bloomburg Tuesday at Kerry Garman Gym in Saltillo. For the Lady Lions, Anna Reeder had a big game with 24 points. Allie Lane and Juliana Giles both had 10 points. Chandler Bain scored 9 points. Maddie Smith had 8 points. Brittany Peoples added 7 points. Jocelyn Ochoa chipped in 6 points. Paisley Kastner scored 4 points. McKenna Gurley scored 2 points. Lady Lions coach Bill Giles said he was happy with what his team did defensively, also moving the ball well and playing unselfish offensively. Coach Giles called it a good team win. The Lady Lions are 9-0 in district play and 27-7 for the season, and the Lady Lions will be playing at Sulphur Bluff Friday evening. And finally in sports, the Miller Grove Lady Hornets basketball team came out on top in a close game with Ector, 34-30 Tuesday. Lady Hornets trailed at the half 11-8, but used a good second half to get the win. Harley Watson led Miller Grove with 23 points. Lauren Bullard and Lainey Burnett scored 4 points apiece, and Summer Coker had 3 points. And that's Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for watching, and so long, everybody.